I am so excited to be speaking here to all of you today. I know that might make me a little bit weird that I want to speak in front of 1,000 people, but that's okay. I know I'm a little weird. All my life, I have enjoyed being an individual who is different from those around me. I'm over 6 feet tall, but I still wear heels, so I can be even taller. As a volleyball player, on long flights to away games, I would sit cramped in my seat doing my calculus homework while my teammates teased me for being a nerd. I still find your mom jokes hilarious. And I will laugh loud enough that someone a mile away can hear me. I don't know anyone exactly like me, and I truly enjoy it. Some of you may be thinking, she is crazy. Who wants to stick out all the time? Isn't it nice to just fit in sometimes? Whether you want to be different or feel you are more different than you are, it's okay. We are supposed to be different. We were individuals in the pre-earth life, and we will continue to be different individuals in the next life. This was important knowledge for me to gain because as I think of working towards perfection, a common goal for many of us, I worry I may lose some of my personality traits that allow me to be me. If we are all perfect, kind, faithful, obedient, and knowledgeable, will we all be the same? It's kind of like Syndrome's statement in The Incredibles when he says he will sell his inventions so everyone can be superheroes. Quote, "And when everyone's super, ha ha ha, no one will be." Now, I don't fear all of us are going to be perfect in this life. Of course, none of us will be perfect in a lifetime. But as I continue to work towards this common goal, I want to keep my sense of self. How can I keep my individuality while striving for perfection? This important aspect of who we are, our individuality, which made our senior design project so successful, comes from God. President Dieter F. Uchtdorf said, "Some may believe that the church wants to create every member from a single mold, that each one should look, feel, think, and behave like every other. This would contradict the genius of God, who created every man different from his brother, every son different from his father. Even identical twins are not identical in their personalities and spiritual identities. The church thrives when we take advantage of this diversity and encourage each other to develop and use our talents to lift and strengthen our fellow disciples." So we are supposed to be different. We were created as such for our individual growth and the growth of our friends and neighbors. Our individuality began before we were here and will continue on after we leave. We can and should keep our good personality traits and remember those experiences which allow us a different perspective so we can empathize with and encourage others. As we become more perfect, we actually become more individual, and our divine self emerges. Quoting President Uchtdorf again, "While the atonement is meant to help us all become more like Christ, it is not meant to make us all the same." During our lives here on earth, we can learn who we truly are, not who we are in the worldly sense, where we say, that's just who I am, and then do whatever we want. That is the natural man. Instead, we can deepen our understanding of who we are as divine sons and daughters of God, heirs to a throne. And as each of us becomes perfected, we allow ourselves to be reminded of that person who we were and who we can become. And it's not the person next to you. It's the person in your seat. They have your adventurous nature, your quick wit, and your dramatic flair. They are you. It is you. No matter how faithful, hopeful, charitable, virtuous, knowledgeable, patient, humble, diligent, and obedient you become, you will never, ever become your neighbor. This knowledge brings me peace, as I want to be me, and keep those personality traits which define me, no matter how weird I am. But I also want to be perfect, and eventually have all those Christ-like traits as well. And so we have come to us, my fourth point. Where are we, and where do we go from here? How do we learn to love and strengthen our individual attributes as we grow towards perfection and gain some similar attributes? Let me use myself learning engineering as an example. One day as a kid, I was out in the garage trying to find something to do. I noticed a few pieces of wood and thought, I can build a shelf. I know what a shelf looks like. It has sides, a top, a bottom, a few shelves in between. So I asked my parents if I could use the few leftover pieces of 2x4s in the garage to build a shelf. I started by putting the bottom next to the side and hammering in a nail, and the top next to the side and hammering in another nail. After a few more nails and a few times hammering the garage floor, I had made a shelf. It was bad. It sat kind of at an angle unless you touched it, in which case it fell over. I knew it wasn't a good shelf, but I was still proud of it. I had never built anything from such raw materials before. I enjoyed making it, I enjoyed learning, and I was proud that I had tried. Sometimes my choices in life feel like that first shelf. As I faithfully act to try and improve a Christ-like quality in myself, I get it all wrong. I am sure more than a few of you can relate to attempting to be obedient by reading your scriptures at night, only to find yourself waking up on them the next morning. Our first attempt will not be our best attempt, but we must try. We must act, or we will never be able to build on that first, likely failed, experience. Our next attempt will be better, and the next one better after that, until we are perfect in that thing. My first foray into engineering was not a success, but I have built on that significantly. And although I would not say I am perfect in engineering, I would say I'm much more proficient. I had to have that first experience. I had to act to guide me to the end result. As I have grown as an engineer, I have expanded my knowledge and capabilities such that I have become more diverse than when I knew so little. I could design and build any type of shelf now, whereas when I first tried, I could only build a wobbly structure that might stab you with nails. As we become more perfect, more like Christ, we become more individual. We begin to comprehend our eternal nature. We recognize truth and are able to think more deeply about it, leading to a better understanding of ourselves and others, and thus to a stronger individual identity. C.S. Lewis wrote, "Good, as it ripens, becomes continually more different, not only from evil, but from other good."
This devotional address with Julie Crockett was given on March 6, 2018.